I just want to point out that James is, in my opinion, an incredibly good-looking man. And I want to thank Jean, who organizes this whole thing. She does it just brilliantly, and it's such a pleasure. Most book signings are pleasures. They really are. Kind of like my fishing trips, back when I was a fishing guide. Any of my former clients here? They never came back. But during my years as a fishing guide, the most common question asked of me in those years, and I was a guide for 13 years at Tarpon Bay, did almost 3,000 charters. And the question was, don't you get tired of kicking out all those jerks from the north? And my reply was, I don't take out jerks. I much like my clients, admired many of them. So in that way, it's kind of like book signings. They're almost all good, but some are better than others. And when Jean does a book signing, it's just fabulous and so well organized. So I want to thank Jean. And my partners, Mark and Marty and Brenda and Heidi. This is just such a cool place, isn't it? It's fabulous.
Great big.
But back when I was a guide, on those rare occasions that my clients caught fish, and they didn't keep them, I would put them in ice in a box in my pickup truck, and I'd back up to the side door here at the restaurant, and I would sell them to Matt Asen. And you folks know Matt owns Timbers, a bunch of restaurants. Real curly hair, you see him on TV a lot holding up signs. He's just crazed. He's a crazed human being. But I would sell fish to Matt, and Matt being Matt, I would bring in these fish, and he would say, well, yeah, I want them. And I would say, well, how much? Well, how's the six-pack sound? No, Matt, I really like money. How about a lunch? No, you know, Matt, I really like money. So, anyway, the symmetry that has brought me back to this place, I find wonderful, and it's a joy to be here. And I particularly want to thank you folks for coming out. Writing is very mysterious. You sit alone in a room, and these characters live their lives through one's fingers, and then the book goes out, and a year later, people read it. My early books, almost no one read them, but it's gotten better by now, so it is a treat to be here. And I'm going to open up the questions. If you folks have any questions, I will happily answer them, and if I don't know the answer, I'll lie. So, yes.
Was there ever a real person that was your inspiration for the character Tomlinson?
Inspiration for the character Tomlinson. I find it very curious that women like that guy. I also find it very troubling, frankly. I don't understand it, but there's much in life I don't understand. Is there an inspiration for the character Tomlinson? Are there any attorneys in this room? There's one, so I'll be very careful. I will say this, one of my dearest friends, as he says, my brother by another mother, and I'm pretty sure about that. It's a guy named Bill Spaceman Lee. He's pitched for the Red Sox for many years. See him on TV all the time. He is now the third or fourth most quoted man in baseball history. Or so says Bill. And he pitched in the great World Series, Cincinnati Reds, Boston Red Sox, and during the year of that World Series, I can't remember when that was, but Bill was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The cover. One of the most famous covers in SI history. And Bill's, and he's left-handed, so I have to kind of stand up this way. But in the cover, he's in Fenway Park, he's in full wind-up, and he's wearing a spacesuit with oxygen tanks and a beanie cap. It's true. Look, type in Bill Lee, Red Sox, and for Sports Illustrated, it'll come up. So in the course of that interview, and I'm getting back to Tomlinson here, in the course of that interview, the writer asked my friend Bill Lee, do you think there's a drug problem in Major League Baseball? And Bill said, no, I can get anything I want, it's great. No, he really said that. And the writer said, are you telling me you smoke marijuana? And Bill, even though he's left-handed, realized he stepped in it. He tried to recover by saying, no, I don't smoke it, man. But every morning I sprinkle like an ounce on my weed. And it purifies me, man. Bill really said that. So Bill got in a lot of trouble for those remarks, and some months later he was interviewed by the New York Times. I'm thinking aloud here, should a Red Sox pitcher talk to a reporter from the New York Times? I think no. But the New York Times reporter said to Bill, after all the trouble you got into over your remarks about drugs, do you now think drug testing should be mandatory in Major League Baseball? And Bill said thoughtfully, mandatory drug testing. You know, I've tested almost every drug there is. Some of that crap's really bad. No one should make you. It shouldn't be mandatory. So, Thomas and Bill's still a dear friend. We played baseball in Cuba many times together, and we actually did a documentary called Gift of the Game. It's about baseball in Cuba and my old guy's baseball team going there and misbehaving and taking beer to kids. And, there's nothing for sale on my webpage, so I feel comfortable giving you my webpage. It's docford.com, and you can see an excerpt from that film there, Bill Lee and me in Cuba. Well, folks, I want to thank you very much. I'm not going anywhere, so I hate standing in line. They'll call the letters or numbers, and in the meantime, have fun. Thank you very much.